So we do want to give everyone an opportunity to present their needs, definitely. And the information table was set up there for the specific purpose of letting people present their needs. What was getting a bit boring was to have people sort of getting you off to the side and asking you, making people uncomfortable uncomfortable that when they're already giving as much as they can, that they should be giving more. Another reason that this came up was that in some of our past conferences, we have had males coming and using our conferences to raise money for themselves and their own projects. And we felt that Buddhist women's needs were what we wanted to address. And so that's how this policy came into effect. But I'm open to other suggestions, definitely. Where are some of the people who were the ones who had the projects, who needed the funding? Ranjani, Dr. Sham are not with us. Tashi, would you like to talk about your project, or is that too sensitive? Okay. We had scheduled tomorrow at tea time for presenting projects, and I wanted to ask those who wish to present to let me know so we know how much time to schedule for this. So that everybody wants to know what you're doing. Everyone appreciates what you're doing. The people are working very hard to try to establish centers where women can study and practice Buddhism, and also to take care of their health needs and all of it. And we really 100% support the people who are doing this work. And it's just a matter of how we go about it for the maximum benefit, for the maximum number of people. Okay, here's another one. Let's be very frank too. Sometimes the people who have the greatest needs do not have the communication skills to express their needs. And sometimes the people who have the communication skills to express their needs are not the ones who are most needy. This is important. We see this a lot. The ones who are good looking and speak English get heaps of sponsors, no problem. But sometimes the ones who really need money the most have no way of reaching the sponsors. So, any more ideas? Ranjani, oh, you are here. Okay, how do you feel about this discussion? Let us know.
I'm sorry, I really did not ask for funds from any of the participants. I just mentioned that these nuns are studying under various hardships, and they have teachers, and those days the teachers come and teach, but today the society has changed, they are too busy, so we have to find masters or teachers, paid teachers, but that we have been doing, and I am not asking any participants. Even in Sri Lanka, so many things international and address. Honolulu is a very rich organization. They believe that Sakyadhita is very rich. So I have to always explain Sakyadhita is bhikkhunis and nuns from poor countries, and they are nuns and they are not earning and they do not have money. They always feel we have been always spending and joining all the conferences. We have been taking all our savings from our own personal money and going for these conferences because we are so interested in helping the nuns and taking up this issue. So people think that we are all very rich and Sakyadhita is very rich, which is a wrong concept. So that's why she's having problems. Everybody asks, and word bhikkhuni, another thing, is in even Sri Lanka, because they think Japanese and Taiwanese, when they say bhikkhunis, they think they give funds to temples, and that is the thing, that they think when there are bhikkhunis, always they believe they are very rich and they are bringing money to the country. And sometimes monks, I'm sorry to say, but in procession they go and receive bhikkhunis and have organized very ceremonial meetings. But we have not received a single dollar from anyone, and I have just managed with my own effort, just little here and there. So thank you.
I'm Elizabeth, and to the list of rich countries, I want to add Japan. Japan is that country which always has streets paved with golden bars, and you go there and take and give. I am a Buddhist by conviction, and I am a member of Australian lay Buddhist small community. It was the problem of when we got together. I'm not a founder, I'm just a member. But when a number of years ago we connected ourselves to rich lay Japanese organization, we were silly and naive, thinking that we will be spreading the Dhamma in Australia among Australians, taking Japanese yens and converting them to dollars. It started like that, but Japanese people are very smart, and they said, we are giving you money, but you have to say what I want. And the problem started because what I believe, certain perceptions which are suitable for the country, for one country, cannot be translated to another country on a one-to-one basis. So our spread of Dhamma had to be adjusted to the Australian conditions, to Australian people, to people of that country. So very quickly we came to the conclusion that the funds from Japan are running short, and we have to start doing something by ourselves. And I believe that that was the first step of growing our organization, that we stopped looking and keeping our hands and purses open, saying, please put it, because we speak English, we want to spread the Dhamma, you are rich. But we said, we are not asking for funds, we are living Dhamma, and we will try, maybe slower, maybe it will take us longer, but we start to base on our own resources. So we started from ourselves. And very often those grandiose projects, you say, I want to set this way, I want everyone to be free without disease, and I want to build hospitals. Maybe it has to be reduced on the first stage to those ladies who go to the villages and talk to the people. It doesn't take a lot of money, but takes a lot of heart and effort. I'm not denying that the money is important. I am grateful for giving me all those information here. It's very important for bigger projects. But what I'm finding is people, I don't want to be sort of gender specific, are very often complaining more than just doing something about it. And I'm talking from my personal experience when we had to slow down, and it is very painful because in many ways we had to grow, but the growth was through the pain. So I'm beginning to say that we have to start from ourselves very often. It helps to have, plus use other people for other projects. Like if I don't know how to use the proposal, now I'm talking from my business side, if I know how to write a proposal, then I will try to find someone who knows how to do it and have trust that the person will do the job for me. So don't try to be, alpha and omega, anything and everything to do by yourself. Use other people who have those skills that can help you. Because sometimes they may not be able to give money, but they will give you skills and helping hand and support and sitting in the zazen with you. Moral support, which is extremely important too. So start from yourself and use people around you, because a good businesswoman. Thank you.
Are there any more contributions, ideas? It's about 4 o'clock. Daytime? Then, thank you very much for your kind participation.
like instead of appreciating, you criticize. But the main essence for what this prayer says is central idea is like when appreciate what others good deeds to others good deeds, you get the same merit. So that's the main point, simple as it is. And there's an expression in Tibetan, I mean, which it doesn't come from here, but which relates a little bit like, don't have to appreciate what others are doing, but you can do it. And don't criticize others, you don't have to do it. It's kind of, like that, so I hope you'll enjoy. So that's
Sangye jo dang zu ye jo nam la jang jo ba do dang ne kya sun che da ye jin so ye be so nam ye do la ba ne sang ye do ba jo sangye jo dang zu ye jo nam la jang jo ba do dang ne kya sun da ye jin so ye be so nam ye do la ba ne sang ye do ba jo sangye jo dang zu ye jo nam la jang jo ba do dang ne kya sun Dage jinso gibe sonam ge dola banye sangye do basho. Semjan tamja dewa dan dewe gyu dan dan bar gyu je. Semjan tamja dunga dan dunga lge gyu dan dawa gyu je. Semjan tamja dunga mebe dewa dan mi dawa gyu je. Semjan tamja giri chata nidan. Tanyon jembo la na ba yu che semjan tamja dewa dan dewe yu dan dan bara yu che semjan tamja dunga dan dunga ye yu dan da semjan tamja dunga mebe dewa dan mi da wa yu che semjan tamja nyere cha da ni dan na be tanyon la na ba yu che semjan tamja dewa dan dewe yu dan dan bara yu che semjan tamja dunga da dunga ye yu dan da wa Semjan tamja dunga mebe dewa tammi dawa yuche semjan tamja nyere chata nyita nabe tangyo la naba yuche Ema ho dina nyima nuke rocho na dame jete mambe parona Chusa tendo pabe yosana naba tabe jinkan dewa Dage cho mege matoya rase save yola la mesa Dena chonda gyawa yopa me bama dage dota zizi Ola chodo jala kolo so sasa sunye becha gyachotan Yaji changi nyaja lo zeze chogo namso soje gido Mame dona jave date do chanchu shila goya tenzate Toje changi yana dala zi yansu chanchu sempo chandas Podo pabo chayo baka zi yondo chanchu sempo toje to Mobo toje sabe pamaye yenye chanchi chaya dala So sombo riga lumbo ye la ye la me chuwe ko Chanjo semge ge don che wa bo Kong kya se do san da ben Chogo na go so je se la me Mo go ta be ge la ke me Da ye go so go ba cha sa lo Chogo na wa ta ya re ki Chaya oze la do chana ze yang do chana ze wan che wan Chaya oze la do do ma de yang do do ma che wan Toge oze la do pa ma jo yang do yang che wan ta ye Chogo opa me la cha sa lo san ye che nye nyen san do 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 Sem chang guan la de wa da de ze Sem chang guan ye yi la kan da be Na do kan yu da do do ye ke Sem chang guan ye da do kan ma Da do ma de so so nyan la na se lo ba da wa de yi ge mi ge sum bo tho lo sha ama lo bon da cho sa ba da ye ve ko lo nga se ge bo sa me nga ye la sa tho lo sha ge lo ge se sa da tu ma ba ko so cho de la ba shi wa so ye ve sa me de cha tho lo sha con yo la ga so ra de so so ma je sa sa na ta la so ba sho ba la nga sa ba to lo sha kha so sen je sa la de che cha jo sen ba na la ko wa ta do je di che sa ba to lo sha ye pa ye di be ni mi da ye ve to ma se sa la so ye ya mi de sha je ye sam ba cha me nga la tui la nga ba ta me ka nga sa ba to lo sha pham pa shi ta la ma ju so ta pa lo so cha nye cha de sa nga so ta su ne cha wa to lo sha na Sona
president of Sacrifica, said that women are the inner threads of society. Awareness and interest are to be awakened and heightened if we want to promote Buddhism. Translate Buddha's message of love and compassion into action instead.
Indeed, today there are only two places in the world where nuns are allowed to attain the fullest rank of full ordination. Those places are Taiwan and Korea. Now, Tibet has 27,000 nuns prior to the Chinese takeover of 59. But all those 27,000 nuns could only attain to the rank of the lowest ordained person, that is, they were novices. And this fact goes back to a time in the 6th century BC, when in fact the Buddha founded the order of monks and nuns.
Thank you very much. I think today I'm going to discard all formalities and get straight to the point. My title here today is Can Women Be Celibate? And it has a subtitle which is Sexuality and Asceticism in Theravada Buddhism. Unfortunately, I don't have time to give the whole paper, and what you have in your hand is only the second part of my paper, original paper. I want to explore the issue of sexuality and asceticism, especially in the Theravada Buddhist tradition, because actually sexuality, which is a very difficult issue to tackle because it is almost a taboo subject, has, in my view, a direct relationship to the notion of spirituality and asceticism. And this has not been explored for various reasons, which I will try to describe today. Now, another thing before I go into my paper is that we have a different attitude to sexuality due to our cultural differences. And we have to acknowledge that the attitude to celibacy, for example, there is a very big cultural difference to that attitude to celibacy in the West. I always experience this because some of my students are from women's studies. I have students from religious studies, but when students from women's studies come to my class and I talk about the notion of celibacy in Buddhism, the first thing they say is, what a terrible thing to be celibate. It is an image, this is an image in the West, that what a terrible thing that these women have to suppress their basic sexual desire. Now, this is a very Western attitude which we have to acknowledge. Just like another good example is this relationship to money. In the West, economic independence, financial independence gives women great power and a kind of authority. But this is not always the case in Buddhist societies, where money is something you would like to abstain from. If you are in a position that you do not have to handle money, like in the case of 10 precepts nuns, you are higher in terms of the spiritual connotation, you are higher because you don't have to handle money, and that gives them more spiritual credibility than those women who handle money. So this, again, you have to understand the cultural differences in dealing with these issues. So economic independence, which women in Southeast Asia, for example, have always had. They have been very, very independent, and they have been involved in all kinds of businesses. They are the breadwinners of the family, but that has not given them this similar kind of power that you may have in the West. So, you know, these things, celibacy, economic independence, you have to be careful not to impose your value judgments upon them. Now, one of the important issues today is this celibacy, or in other words, sexual abstinence. One question I would like to raise is, why are Buddhist nuns always celibate? In many Mahayana Buddhist countries, like where I come, which is Japan, Buddhist monks, well, we call them priests, get married. There is no stigma attached to that. Marriage is something, you know, part of the Buddhist tradition in Japan. However, Japanese Buddhist nuns remain celibate. Of course, you know, traditionally, Theravada countries, nuns and monks are all celibate, but I'm saying that there must be a reason for Buddhist nuns to remain celibate. And the question again is whether can they really be celibate from, not from the nun's point of view, but maybe from the society's general point of view. Another thing, since I'm not going to, well, you don't have the first part of my paper, so I would just give you some of the points because it is a very difficult question, which is when you deal with the position of Buddhist nuns, or when we try to understand where the Buddhist nuns stand, there are various levels of cultural and, well, textual representation. The first level, which we all know, and this is what the monks will tell you, this is the representation of the feminine in the Buddhist texts. How are women described? What are the images of women transmitted in the official Buddhist texts? This is one level. The next level is the local texts. For example, there are many, many vernacular texts in Burma. The most popular one is called Lokaniti, popular stories. And this is another level that conveys an image of Buddhist women, Buddhist nuns, and represents and transmits the image of the feminine. Now, the third level is the social stereotypes. Women have bad karma, women are polluted, women are maternal. This is supposed to be a positive image, but at the same time, the stereotype says women are maternal, but they are very attached. Because of their maternal instinct, they are attached to their families, and because of that, they are the symbol of samsara, because they are the vessel for reproduction. So it goes round and round. These are all social stereotypes. Women are caught up in this world. Women are attached. Women have more suffering and thus bad karma. The problem is these social stereotypes also affect the Buddhist nuns, and also it affects the self-image of Buddhist women. They are also very much affected by what the monks will tell them about the female representation or the images in the Buddhist texts. So in a way, it works to undermine their confidence and self-image. Another level, which is also connected to the social stereotypes, is that the social stereotypes are permeated even stronger, I have to say this, among educated intellectuals. When I first went to Burma, as all we researchers, well, sort of us, when you are starting your research, you go to the university or you approach the local intellectuals. And the first thing they told me is that if you are going to study the Buddhist nuns, this is a very sort of frequently said proverb in the cities, but Buddhist nuns are women whose sons are dead, who are widowed, bankrupt, who are in debt and broken-hearted. Buddhist nuns are ugly women from poor families, and Buddhist women are even infertile women who had, basically failed in their womanhood. Now, this kind of a stereotype was passed on or given to me by the university lecturers, that is the educated, Western-educated, urban intellectuals. And you have to see all this kind of distortion that takes place, because I started from that stereotype and went around Burma looking for a nun who will fit into this stereotype. A woman who is old, it's a bankrupt and with